missed. I'm not quite sure who. That long ball was sent forward. I think it was against a City player. Ederson sort of rubbing his chest after that there. He came out quickly to close down Joao Pedro. He tried to jink in between the City defence. Akanji's clearance actually come off his own man Rodri and almost inadvertently put Joao Pedro in on goal. He reacted fastest, but not as quick as Ederson, who dived at his international teammate's feet to get the ball away. Ederson, as I said, missed a few games after getting injured in the draw at Anfield about 6 weeks ago there, and was on the bench on Saturday, as he always is, for cup games. Stefan Ortega preferred, but Brazil international back between the sticks tonight. Alvarez chases down the right touchline, but Dunk puts out for a throw about 5 yards inside his own half. Pep Guardiola comes out of the box to his technical area to bowl that one into one of his players' hands, and back underway now with Akanji, the Swiss international. Flicks it forward for Alvarez, who comes deep and lets Rodri take over. Walker back to Akanji now, midway inside his own half, looking for his options. Oh, lovely flick again from Foden. He's playing with such confidence, as is Rodri. He sends Baleba for a bit of a hot dog there, sliding in on him. He'll roll it to Nathan Ake. Guardiola up over halfway. Lovely pass inside to Rodri. It took out Baleba and Adingra. Rodri to Guardiola. To Ake just over halfway. 1-2 Bernardo Silva, and here's City at their very best, just slowly squeezing the life out of Brighton. It's Kovacic to Guardiola. He goes back to Ake. Kovacic to Rodri. Oh, they've overplayed that one back by Adingra. And his shirt tugged there by Ake. Advantage play with the referee. Baleba goes back to Dunk in the centre circle. Here's 1-2 with Duncan Modesh, who's dropping in from midfield from time to time, the big rangy Polish international. De Bruyne now wins it back as Guardiola and Ofaya clash there on the City left and Brighton right. In the end, it's a throw in to City as Gross and De Bruyne hug it out. 10 minutes into the second half, and Brighton are going to make another sub here. Modesh is coming off, that I mentioned there, the Polish international. And he's going to be replaced by the Brazilian Igor Julio. So Modesh, well, I'd say more of a midfielder who is capable of dropping into defence, but he has been replaced here by Igor Julio, the big Brazilian who is a defender by trade. And I think by the looks of it, they're going to push Faya and Barco forward as wing backs and go with a three of Dunk, Van Hecke and Igor Julio. We shall see if that plays out. But Brighton have won it back here inside the City half. Joao Pedro to Adingra, arms all flailing as he gets forward, tries to cross off Ake, corner. Claims of handball from the Brighton faithful behind that goal. Let's have another look. Yeah, hits his arm. Certainly hits his arm. It's the old question of where the arm is, but I think Nathan Ake will be breathing a sigh of relief after that one. That's only a corner. It's going to be a delivery here, right-footed outswinger from Pascal Gross. And they have options in the middle. Igor Julio, the man just on, is one of them. And it comes floated into the back post where Dunk will rise. So Van Hecke gets it up in the air, but nobody in blue and white can challenge, and Ederson comes out to claim it. There's a City player and Brighton player down on the ground at the back post. It's Guardiola and Dunk. The two of them went for that header. The Brighton captain won it, and seemingly the two of them come down in a bit of a heap. So Jared Gillett is happy just to pause proceedings for the two of them. Let's have a look here now. So it was actually Van Hecke that went up and won it above Dunk as he and Guardiola fell over each other, and I think Van Hecke just fell on the Croatian international just to really make sure that one hurt. Bit of coming together, but Dunk is back to his feet. Guardiola a bit slower, but is back in play now. So Ederson has ball in hand. booms it forward, left-footed on the side-foot volley. Alvarez chasing, dunk. Nice defensive work, just flicked the header backwards to Jason Steele, who says back in goal today. Given away there by Van Hecke. Foden to Alvarez on the edge of the box. Alvarez spilled by Steele, but nobody in the City shirt could get there. And Steele scrambles out to get to it. First real time that City have troubled Jason Steele in the second half. Given away by Van Hecke to Rodri, and Foden played in. Alvarez strikes in the edge of the box, was low, fairly straight at Steele, but he gathered it at the second attempt. Here's Alvarez again to Foden. Deflection off of a Brighton player, I believe it was Baleba, and behind for a corner. Not what City were looking for, but I'm sure they'll take it. A corner kick in front of their fans behind Jason Steele's goal, who have been treated to another Pep Guardiola masterclass this evening, as they have. Phil Foden down into the corner to take the corner kick. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger from the Manchester City number 47, the number he's worn since coming through as a youth team player, and has stuck with it ever since. He plays the corner short to Bernardo Silva, back to Foden, left corner of the penalty. He's into the box now, dinks it in with a bit of a toe poke, headed away. De Bruyne back out in the right-hand corner of the penalty area, away from Adingra. Good sliding tackle by Barco, and Steele now has ball at feet. Van Hecke, another risky pass. This time Afaya bails him out, but he's under pressure, and Dunk has to come over, and City have it back, and Brighton have shot themselves in the foot again. Alvarez with a curling effort at that moment, and just glanced the crossbar on the way over, and Brighton are just determined to make things difficult for themselves here. A lovely curling effort there by Alvarez, and it was sort of the top of the roof of the net that rippled, but Jason Steele wasn't getting to that one if it was on target, and Brighton just really just making life difficult for themselves. There's absolutely no need, but they are determined to do so. Steele takes a goal kick, first touch for Igor Julio as he takes it down on his chest on the left touchline, back to Dunk. As predicted, that does seem to be the case. So Brighton are going with three at the back here and are gone. Danny Welbeck comes deep to get it, almost forgot he was out there. There's a Dingra in behind for Joao Pedro, who's immediately offside. That's poor. He's blaming Adingra, but surely you have to be timing your run better than that as a striker. Actually, Afaya. Apologies, it was Odeluga Afaya with the pass. There's one for Alvarez at the other end. He knew he was offside, so Van Hecke will just take that one on a post. Baleva, Indigo, Joao Pedro, lovely touch. Danny Welbeck in the centre circle. As Barco to his left, he uses him. Kyle Walker over there trying to close things down, and Barco, I'm not sure whether it was an under-hit pass or an over-hit touch around Walker, or whatever it was. The City captain can recover and go back to his goalkeeper Ederson. And now Ake has the ball at his feet inside his own box. So 61 gone here at the Amex. Oh, and my goodness, Kyle Walker, look at the pace on the end of Ederson's through ball. He's got Alvarez with him, he's still going Walker, he slides into Steele. That looked like a potential foul. Alvarez has slid it into the empty net, and it looks like it's going to count. It's 4-0 to Manchester City. A route one goal from the champions, not one they usually do. Claims from Brighton players of a hand initially, and also of a foul by Walker on Steele. I don't know if Jared Gillett is going to even have a look at VAR. He may well do. Jason Steele is motioning to him saying that's handball, ref. Julian Alvarez did the thing that all good strikers do, put it in the net, ask questions later. A super long ball from Ederson to Walker, my goodness. Well, when you see it again, I didn't see it at the time, but there does look to be a hand there by Kyle Walker as he tried to bring the bouncing ball under control. Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't. Maybe the only thing to look at is as he sort of overplayed that, Steele came rushing out. Walker slid into Steele and did get the ball, but did he get a bit too close to the Brighton keeper? It's really brave goalkeeping, but really brave play by Kyle Walker, who actually slides it into the path of Alvarez, who rolls it into the empty net in front of the adoring City faithful. And I can't see a reason why that can't be given. The only thing might be the challenge from Walker on Steele as the Brighton keeper dives at his feet. There's certainly no handball there, and I say Julian Alvarez does what all great strikers do, puts it in the net, asks questions later, and we're back underway. The goal stands. And it's Brighton Hove Albion 0, Manchester City 4 just after the hour. Route 1 football for Manchester City. When have we ever seen that? But it pays off dividends there. Ederson with the ball, and just rapid pace from Kyle Walker. Didn't really get a chance to say it at the time, but he is so fast. Got in behind the right back, in behind the Brighton defence. Barco slides in and sort of makes Walker miscontrol it, which is what brings Steele out of his goal. He dives at Walker's feet, but the City captain got there first, slide it into the path of Alvarez, who rolls into the empty net to make it 4. Here's Baleva. It's what City do. They have so many weapons that can hurt you. Lovely ball though from Barco to Welbeck at the other end. He has Adingra with him. He uses him. Simon Adingra. Oh, great tackle by Gvardiol. They're claiming a goal kick as well. I thought it was a corner. But Josko Gvardiol with a super sliding challenge on Simon Adingra. Good pace there from Brighton. Barco and Baleva through for Welbeck, who laid in Adingra. Super slide challenge from Josko Gvardiol. We'll see this angle. Yeah, it is a goal kick because Gvardiol gets the touch, but Adingra actually gets a strike on it. So goal kick it is. And Ederson has ball at feet. And to Foden, who comes deep for that one. Bernardo Silva inside his own penalty area, and Foden has gone to ground here under challenge by Jan-Paul van Hecke, and the big Dutch defender have to be very careful. He did that a few times in the first half where he follows Foden and others way out of defence. And he's left one in there and Phil Foden. That's not clever at all. I don't think it's an elbow, but he certainly leaves a body check in on Foden after he passes the ball, and well, that to me is just behind for a corner. Not what City were looking for, but I'm sure they'll take it. Corner kick in front of their fans behind Jason Steele's goal, who have been treated and mesmerised today. As we get a look at Gareth Southgate as Arian comes down again here at the Amex. Well, I mean, I don't think there was ever any doubt that he was going to pick Phil Foden for his Euro squad, but if he's wanting to see what type of form his little playmaker is in, well, what a performance Foden has put on for him today. Van Hecke is getting a talking to with Jarrett Gillett, and Foden does not accept the Dutch defender's attempts at an apology, that's for sure. Slaps the arm away. It's not a great look for Van Hecke. So he follows Foden all the way to defence to go deep, and when Foden just laid the pass off, Van Hecke just stuck the shoulder in him really. But play on. No need for this game to get dirty or anything like that there, but Brighton certainly looking frustrated, and rightly so. Ederson, well, a bit of a ropey pass from Ederson to Ake along the byline, but City come away with it. Rodri back to Ake, and now they're showing Brighton this is how you pass around your own penalty area. Akanji away down the right hand side now. Head to Walker midway inside the Brighton half. A super assist for Alvarez's goal. They link up again, and Walker has got Igor Julio on toast here. Right hand corner of the penalty area. Does he have support in the middle? Does he need it? Walker cuts it back, straight to Van Hecke, and Baleva nodded it back to Steele and nearly caught it out his own keeper, but it's into his gloves. Walker there did the hard part of getting in behind, and then just, I think he froze really thinking of his options. I thought he might have been able to take a shot, but tried to play it back and didn't succeed in doing so, but he left Igor Julio in his wake there. My goodness, he is a rapid Kyle Walker. He's such a great all-round player, but having pace like that is such a weapon for any player, any team. Van Hecke and Baleva in their own box. Ofaya, who since coming out at half time hasn't really had a chance to stretch his legs in his first Premier League appearance of the season. Van Hecke's ball upfield finds Adingra, who's going to try and get away from Ake, but can't do so, and a throw into City on halfway. We're going to see Matheus Nunes, who hasn't really seen a whole lot of game time of late. Didn't play in the FA Cup semi-final or the Champions League quarter-final. And we're also going to see a return here of Jack Grealish, a man who, that's maybe somebody who Gareth Southgate would like to see a bit more of tonight. Certainly his injuries and lack of form, and others such as Cole Palmer's form this season, means that a favourite of Gareth Southgate for sure, a quality player who can offer England a lot, but by no means is his spot on the plane to Germany this summer guaranteed. Rodri now gives the ball away to Adingra, very unlike him. He clips it out to João Pedro, who falls over. Barco will recover left hand corner of the penalty area, but good challenge by Bernardo Silva. Barco didn't see him coming and City come away. De Bruyne, he's caught late by Igor Julio, and Brighton have to be very careful that their frustrations don't boil over here. We've already seen Van Hecke on Foden, and now Igor Julio on De Bruyne. There's a Kanji. City out shooting Brighton 13-4, but only 5-3 in shots on target. But the big stat in the top left of my screen, and the one I'm about to tell you, is the only one that matters. It's Brighton Hove Albion 0, Manchester City 4, as we approach the 70th minute here at the American Express Community Stadium. Guardiola back to Ake. Next break in play, we'll see Jack Grealish and Matheus Nunes enter proceedings for the champions, who are treble winners no more. Well, they're still currently holders, but they won't be defending that treble. There's Kyle Walker again testing pace. It's Danny Welbeck, to his credit, who gets back to help out and wins it. Gross to Baleba, and now Van Hecke on the edge of his own box to a fire, who even since being pushed forward as a wing back has been confined to defence, but now he's got good pace. He's gone past Kovacic and Guardiola, still going. Fire here, Odeluga Fire. A dinger, right corner of the penalty area. Joao Pedro under pressure, dances away from De Bruyne, nicely done. Joao Pedro is still going. Oh, he's still going, he's in the box. Joao Pedro, oh, he's surely brought down. Penalty, no. Josko Gvardiol surely bundles into the back of Joao Pedro, and Jared Gillett says get up. My goodness me, how has that not been given as a penalty? I'm not even sure if VAR will intervene in that one. Joao Pedro, an amazing run. And Gvardiol, he certainly puts his hand in Joao Pedro's back. There's not a huge amount of contact when you see it again, I will say that, but it looks a stone waller to me. Now Barco is way down the left touchline for Brighton. Joao Pedro, another nice touch away from Akanji into the box, but Rodri nips in and Ederson clears his left foot into touch, and looks like we will see those Manchester City subs now. And Jared Gillett motioning there that he has actually had word in his ear from the VAR. There's no penalty, so I was going to be a little bit more certain than I should have been after the first showing. The replays are, well, to me it looks like maybe Joao Pedro has overrun it slightly, but Guardiola's certainly taking a risk and putting his hand on the Brazilian there. You have the referee a decision to make, and he made the decision of no penalty. The legs almost getting a tangle as well, but nothing doing. This is Jared Gillett or our VAR official. So 71 minutes. Still Brighton Hove Albion 0, Manchester City 4. There'll be no hat-trick for Phil Foden. He is off, replaced by Matheus Nunes, while Kevin De Bruyne is off. Jack Grealish is on. So just quality all round, and a real luxury for City to have to rest two players of their quality and bring on two high quality players in their place. There's Gross now back to steal in the Brighton goal, and certainly that penalty decision, while a bit of a contentious one, there certainly was no danger of Brighton coming back into this one tonight. They have been thoroughly outplayed. They've tried to play their game and at times have looked decent, but just schooled in the art of being clinical by Pep Guardiola's treble holders, FA Cup finalists, and, well, Premier League favourites, you must say. This win tonight will take them up to second, 2 points behind Arsenal, a point ahead of Liverpool in third, with a game in hand still to play. To dunk down the line looking for Igor Julio, too long for him, and throw in to City on the right hand side. The unfortunate thing about a game like this is it often just sort of peters out. The 3 goals from City before half time really had the game killed as a contest. Julian Alvarez has added a 4th in the second half. Brighton have had a couple of shouts for a penalty. Pascal Gross at the beginning of the half tugged by Rodri. Here's Grealish now at the other end for City. Gvardiol overlapping, cuts it back looking for Alvarez, but Steele gets there. Gvardiol was the other fortunate party who Seemed to lean an arm on Joao Pedro as he was in the box, but Gerard Gillett and the VAR both said no. So 73 minutes gone. You're listening to unofficial Premier League commentary here this Thursday night, as we are very much in the home stretch of this season's Premier League. It's Manchester City who lead 4-0 here at the American Express Community Stadium, Brighton. Total lesson really tonight. Here's Valentin Barco. He will have much better nights than this going forward. The young Argentinian, just 19 years old, so highly thought of already, a full international for Argentina. Came through the ranks of Boca Juniors and has made some appearances off the bench since joining from the Argentinian Giants, the Buenos Aires Giants, in January, and it's his first start tonight. Didn't cover himself in glory for Manchester City's third, getting caught out on the edge of his own box by Bernardo Silva before Phil Foden swept home his second and City's third. But he's shown some signs, as have Brighton, but just this season, with the combination of having those extra European games for the first time and injuries to key players, you're not going to be able to replicate last season. He's well back now on the edge of the box, so looking for space to shoot. He does over the bar. Ederson able to watch that one all the way. Experienced forward Danny Welbeck. Well, really, he's in the side because Evan Ferguson, the young Irish striker, has been injured a lot this season. I'm actually going to see another young Irishman come on for Danny Welbeck. The 18-year-old Marco Mahoney coming on here for the last 15 minutes. As Roberto De Zerbi certainly perhaps using this sort of game to blood some of these youngsters' experience against the big boys, experienced players that have been there and done that. It's now time for the 19-year-old. My apologies to Marco Mahoney, who made a brief appearance off the bench at the weekend for his Premier League debut in the closing stages of the draw at Turf Moor, and picked up a yellow card for his trouble. But now makes a longer appearance tonight. He'll get about 15 minutes plus stoppage time. Can he do anything against that City back line? You look at him from here, he's much like his countryman Evan Ferguson. He's a big lad, Marco Mahoney, an Ireland under-21 international, as Carlos Baleva is going to get a book in here for a tug on Mathias Nunez's shirt. That's about as stonewall as they come. About helped either that was about 2 foot from the Australian official. Baleva goes in the book, joining Pascal Gross, his teammate. I said, not a dirty game by any stretch. Brighton maybe just showing some late signs of frustration here. Is Grealish to Guardiola. There's another foul there on Kovacic, just time from Adingra, but advantage play by Gerard Gillett doesn't mean he can't go back and book a man. We shall see Walker on the right hand side on the touchline. Nunez, right corner of the box. Back to Bernardo Silva, back to Nunez. Guardiola coming central to his international teammate Mateo Kovacic. Manchester City will go to the City Ground in Nottingham on Sunday afternoon after this one, before they round off their season home to Wolves, away to Fulham, away to Tottenham, and at home to West Ham. That Tottenham game really is the game in hand, so to speak. That's a midweek fixture, and the rest on the weekends. And then on the 25th of May, the FA Cup final, another Manchester derby, as Pep Guardiola now empties his bench with 12 to go. Jeremy Doku on for Bernardo Silva as the first sub. That's not something a tired Brighton backline will want to see. The next sub sees Kyle Walker off for Rico Lewis, the City captain, who did an excellent job tonight set up the fourth goal. He's off for Rico Lewis as he hands the armband to, was going to hand it to Rodri, but now walk across and put it on the arm of Nathan Ake. So Ake wearing the captain's armband for the last 12 minutes or so tonight. And nearly man to come on is Sergio Gomez for his Spanish compatriot Rodri. So that's perhaps why Kyle Walker was going to give it to Rodri, and then Rodri said, no, I'm off too. So it's Walker, Silva and Rodri off, Lewis, Doku and Gomez on for Manchester City. Here's Alvarez into the corner. Barco, Doku is in there now, challenging with Igor Julio, but throw in is given the way of Brighton, and Barco will give it to his Brazilian teammate Igor Julio to take. Down the line, O'Mahony with a touch. He gets stuck into Matheus Nunes there, but City have the ball with Kovacic on the right touchline. It's getting a bit gritty down there. And City come away with it with Lewis. And capped by Gareth Southgate, who's watching the stand for the first time in November. A regular with Lee Carsley's England under-21s, and an outside shot of making the Euro squad, but I'd say if everyone was fit. Rico Lewis may not be on that plane to Germany, but certainly one whose time absolutely will come with the senior international side. Here's Ake with that captain's armband on to Ederson via Kovacic, and already here as we hit 10 minutes to go, the blue seats are becoming visible at the Amex. Some Brighton fans in that main stand already have seen enough and are quite happy to head for home. I don't even want to see a Manchester City masterclass. Here's Doku now, robbed by Gross, gets it back. Gross looking for João Pedro, good block by Kovacic. So they'll go back to Barco. Under pressure there from Alvarez. Gross back to Igor Julio. On the halfway line now for Dunk. Well, Manchester City come into this game unbeaten in 12 straight away games. They'll make that 13 tonight, no problem. Adingra on the right hand touchline midway inside the City half, back to Carlos Baleva. Nice crossfield pass to pick out Barco. Is there still something in it for Brighton? No, not in this attack. Barco sends that one high and wide of Ederson's goal. That just about sums up Brighton's night, really. A lot of endeavour with no real end product. City will do the double over Brighton this year after a 2-1 victory back in October at the Etihad. City's incredible domestic unbeaten run continues. Haven't lost a game domestically or in 90 minutes, in fact, since the 6th of December, a 1-0 defeat at Villa Park. That defeat to Real Madrid last week, ending a 27-game unbeaten run in all competitions. It stretches back to that Villa game. But, as I say, the treble is gone, but the domestic double is still very much alive for Pep Guardiola's men. They've a second Manchester Derby FA Cup final in a row on the 25th of May. Before that, they will hope to have the Premier League title secured. Doku robbed by Igor Julio, now Barco. And for Adingra, he just couldn't bring it under control, and it zips under his foot, and Ake is out for a goal kick. Right, now I'm going to play to the end here. I have to give them a lot of credit for that. It's just been one of those nights for Brighton, and they'll not really remember in a hurry. Here's Rico Lewis on the right touchline. And free kick given against Barco for a foul on Lewis as he came in central, and Lewis takes it to Nunez. Doku ahead of him. He'll go 1-2 with Lewis, who is limping slightly. That's not what City want to see. Well, in behind it for Grealish, and Heka just ushers it behind for a goal kick. And you've got 7+ stoppage time to go here at the Amex, as City will overtake Liverpool into second place and are hot on Arsenal's heels, having played a game less. That game in hand, as I say, is against Tottenham away, so it's by no means a gimme, but just something about Manchester City this time of year. They just seem to kick it up a notch as the more and more blue seats becoming visible here at the Amex, as Dunk picks the ball on halfway. Now Igor Julio to Barco. Barco, nice ball into O'Mahony in the edge of the box, who gives it back out to Barco, who keeps it in on the left touchline line midway inside the City half, faced up by Doku and Lewis. He goes infield to Baleba. Hits Jared Gillett on the way, so that'll be a drop ball given to Brighton. And now here's Dunk. Gross back to Dunk. Now Steele all in yellow, the Brighton goalkeeper. One in behind there for a dinger to chase. Ederson come all the way to goal, and he's been caught out there. Ofaya just can't get the shot away, and Ederson will get back to his goal. Brighton hold possession. A dinger was in behind Ederson, had to come out, and when it came back to Odeluga Ofaya, he just couldn't get the shot away. But here's João Pedro on the left hand side, in behind for Igor Julio, who gets to the byline, cuts it back. João Pedro got his foot mixed up, and he just couldn't finish. That could and maybe should have been a goal back for Brighton, but the Brazilian grimaces. He just couldn't get his footwork right there. He did a good job to link up with Igor Julio, and he had about 3 other players in blue and white stripes in the box, but I don't think it was going to reach them. Ederson diving, but had that one been on target from João Pedro, I think we're looking at 4-1. City clean sheet ruined, but as it is, Ederson's goal remains untouched. Here's Rico Lewis now, down the right touchline for Doku, well read by Igor Julio, who heads it straight into his manager's arms, who, well, Roberto De Zerbi has been linked with the vacant Liverpool job, which looks more and more going towards the Feyenoord manager Arne Slot, who are currently actually leading in their game against the go-ahead Eagles 3-1, if you're so interested. But De Zerbi, certainly, I think a lot of people will rush to label this a second season syndrome, where he was a flash in the pan, and it's just been unfortunate for Brighton. As I said, the extra games, plus obviously Alexis McAllister, Moises Caicedo gone in the summer, and even those key players who stayed, like Evan Ferguson, Karl Matoma and others, have been out either on and off or long term. Ferguson and Matoma have barely kicked the ball in the second half of this season, really, since Christmas, and they've just been inconsistent. Up until the Arsenal game, they lost 3-0 here to Arsenal a couple of weeks ago. They're actually unbeaten 14 home games, although 6 of those are draws, which kind of shows where they've gone wrong this season. Just too many points dropped in that regard. But to lose your 14 game home unbeaten run to Arsenal and then Manchester City, it's no shame. There's plenty of teams who have been turned over by those two this year. And for Brighton now, I think it's just about trying to finish the season as strong as they can, see how high up they can finish. For City, of course, still so much on the line. But looking ahead for Brighton on Sunday, a bit of I know their supporters don't like it when you call it a derby, but a South Coast clash, let's say, the Vitality Stadium with Bournemouth, and they welcome Aston Villa here the following week, and then away to Newcastle, home to Chelsea, and home to Manchester United to finish the year. So they've some really tough games, a tough run in against Aston Villa sitting in 4th, a Newcastle side who also, like themselves, had Europe this season and then underperformed really as a result of that, and then finishing with Chelsea and Manchester United here at the Amex, which I'm sure their supporters and players will all relish as an opportunity to show what they're made of and finish this season on a strong showing. Lead that into next year. What the summer will look like here, who knows what departures there'll be, what arrivals there will be. Imagine that Roberto De Zerbi, the Italian, will be back in the Amex dugout next year, but you just never know in football. Ederson with the ball at his feet here in the box to Ake, who took over the captain's armband from Kyle Walker upon his departure. He rolls it laterally along the edge of the box to Manuel Akanji. Doku, as he fouled by Igor Julio, he was, so free kick to Manchester City midway inside their own half. Its strength and depth, the City side is just, well, it really is something else. Pep Guardiola, smiling and joke with some of his assistants on the bench, but also seemingly still unhappy with some tactical aspects of his team's game, as we're now into the final minute of the 90 before stoppage time. Here's Sergio Gomez, first touch for him since coming off the bench. Not too many minutes under his belt lately, so he'll be pleased to get a run out this evening. Here's Ake to Kovacic. Is there another goal in this for City? You feel like there always is, but they had this game dead and buried at the break. Grealish to Guardiola, and Gomez leaves it for Nunez. Kanji on halfway, just toying with Brighton now really. Gross catches Kovacic, he needs to be careful, he's booked. Lewis, so out to Doku. Right hand corner of the penalty area, Jeremy Doku faced up with Valentin Barco. Barco's quick, Doku's quick as well. Good block by Barco, and Baleba with a rather strange diving header. That's away nonetheless. Kovacic so midway inside the Brighton half, back to Alvarez, Grealish, Guardiola overlapping, but Grealish will choose to look inside and go to Kovacic. We'll see now any second what added time we shall have. There's a Kanji. Ake and Nunez. Back to Kanji and Lewis. Doku, Lewis overlapping. 5 added minutes here, so 5 minutes. Ooh, risky pass there from some Doku in the end, and Ake catches João Pedro midway inside the City half. Free kick to Brighton. Just got a rousing round of applause from the Brighton fans. Even if that's an ironic one that Jared Gillett has finally given them something, or just that their team have something to shout about. João Pedro, good ball in. Was going to the back post, and Adingra, I don't think was expecting it, and he skipped up off the wet surface. Some intermittent heavy showers tonight, and one's away behind for a goal kick. Unsurprisingly, Phil Foden has been voted man of the match. Came off after 75 minutes rested along with Kyle Walker and Rodri. That's such as the grace of a game like this for Pep Guardiola. He's such squad depth, he can rotate them. Still have such a quality lineup out there. Here's two of those subs combined. Rico Lewis and matches Nunez, who sprints away from Carlos Baleba and has options ahead of him. Nunez, plenty of room in the tank for him. Alvarez, Lewis overlapping, loads of room. Rico Lewis to the byline. Was going to cut it back, does cut it back, looking for Grealish. Van Hecke read it well though. Steers it clear. And João Pedro invites Barco onto that one. O'Mahony into Igor Julio, and now Brighton come forward, perhaps on the counter, but Gross now out to Adingra. Has a fire overlapping. Chooses to go back inside instead. We have a very sparsely populated crowd here now. We've played 2 of the 5 added on. Here's Barco now on the left touchline, midway inside the City half. Into Marco Mahoney, as I said, the Irish under 21 international. Made his senior Brighton debut off the bench at the weekend. We're getting a few more minutes under the belt tonight. There's one forward for Adingra now on the right hand side. Gets it in there. O'Mahony leaps. Good header away by Akanji. Barco picks it up left hand corner of the penalty area. And delivery from Barco, and well, O'Mahony made Ake clear it behind for a corner. So Brighton, if nothing else, are going to make Manchester City work right until the end. Marco Mahoney, like I said, like his countryman and teammate Evan Ferguson, a big tall physical striker. Another one that the Irish fans and Brighton fans can be excited about. He's certainly dwarfing Sergio Gomez, who's trying to drop Marco from this corner. Delivery in from Barco, good header away by Ake. Barco's corner deliveries have seen today. He hits them low, hard and straight, just above head height, which must make them a nightmare for opposition teams to defend. That's a bit of a weapon in his arsenal. Here's Dunk now midway inside his half. We can maybe spring one more attack for Brighton. They have been thwarted at every corner by Manchester City, who are still pressing high up the pitch. Now here's Ofaya down the right touchline. So his first Premier League appearance of the season, made his debut last year, but spent the first half of the season on loan at Heart of Midlothian in Scotland and missed time through illness and injury. But Van Hecke's clearance has gone to Alvarez. To Doku is at 5. Good save by Steele. Loops up into the air. Igor Julio and Alvarez tussling for the ball. Alvarez, smaller, wins it. Goes to ground. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty not given. Baleva's clearance cannons off Kovacic now for a throw-in. So City almost in for number 5 there. Ball over the top from Guardiola, and Van Hecke intercepted ahead of Doku into the path of Alvarez, back to Doku, and it's a good save from Jason Steele, although perhaps Belgium could have placed that further in the corner, but easy for me to say. It's really the last minute of the 5 here, and Igor Julio and Rico Lewis challenge for that one. Throw in to, I'm not quite sure who, throw into Manchester City, and Lewis will dander over to pick a ball up off the cone. No ball boys, of course. It's ball set on the cone, so as for teams not to gain an advantage from home favourable ball boys. I think we would have taken more than that tonight for Brighton, who have been thoroughly outclassed by this Manchester City machine. 4-0, just about 20 seconds to go here. Will they push for a fifth? It's Nunez, left corner of the box to Grealish, faced up by Ofaya, forced back by Ofaya, back to Gomez. Nunez back to Grealish, and I think they're just going to pass the ball around, and Manchester City have done the job and then some tonight. Back up into second as Jared Gillett blows the full-time whistle. A 4-0 victory for Manchester City, a game that was done and dusted by half-time. 3 first-half goals, 1 from Kevin De Bruyne, 2 from Phil Foden, and Julian Alvarez added a 4th in the second half. Brighton tried in vain, but were just outclassed tonight by a City side who are looking ominously like the City side that so often comes out at this time of year, that just roll through at the crucial times of the year, and they've done it again tonight. Back up to second, a game in hand of Arsenal, 2 points ahead of them. And it's finished here at the American Express Community Stadium. It's been Brighton Hove Albion 0, Manchester City 4. I've been Mark Strange. Thanks for following along on live, unofficial